being a strong development economist requires you to have a strong grounding in economics. And often that means an intuition, an ability to search through many different models of the world that economics provides us and say, I think this might be what's happening. This is what fits. I think this market is failing because of the way that information is being circulated. That intuition comes with a depth in your understanding and your learning about economics, but it has to be relatively broad. You have to understand the many places of economics. Depth of knowledge in economics is very powerful. In a similar way, immersing yourself in a development setting gives you a real depth of understanding about that setting. But as a complement, being eclectic in your interests is like understanding the broad range of economics models. So being eclectic in your interests means that you're not just interested in the Ministry of Finance's approach to expenditure, or if you're potentially a labour economist, how people are getting to work and the choices they're making around work. Because before they go to work, people are making choices about what to have for breakfast. They're making choices about where to live. And they're making choices about who they are as individuals. And so to try to be a good labour economist, or in my case, someone interested in public administration, you have to understand a much broader range of, let's call them variables, features of the development setting. And that's why I find, having now been in the sector for a quarter of a century or so, that the people who are most valuable to solving development challenges are actually those that have really eclectic interests, and they think they're interested in the music of a particular development setting. Of course, music has expressions of people's motivations and interests and how they respond to challenges. They're interested in how people socialize on the weekends, and they go out and they try to understand, what does this mean for the economics of this place? As well as just making our lives richer and more valuable for ourselves, having an eclectic range of interests makes you a better development economist. Because development is about trying to bring together the many features of an environment, an organization, an economy, to actually improve the wealth of whatever type that you can generate in that setting. And that means it's always going to be multifaceted. There's always going to be lots and lots of features. So if you're just really good at labour market economics and you only focus on labour market economics, even if you've got that depth of speciality, having some eclectic understanding of what motivates people to do after they leave work gives you a better chance of understanding the variables that might actually matter for your models. It can't be predicted what those variables are, and therefore you have to almost take a scattergun approach and just be interested in a wide variety of features of the development setting. Development can now mean quite a range of things. There are many places in the traditionally so-called rich parts of the world that are in requirement of a lot of development, and where development economics would be very powerful and useful. So in a similar way, an eclectic mindset would actually go and understand settings that aren't traditionally thought of as development. And suddenly one will see that development economics may be a very powerful lens for understanding the development, say, of the lagging regions of the United States. Some examples of how to do this would be to always try, whenever you're thinking about a particular development setting, to go off and learn something that has nothing to do with your current project or topic about that place. I'm a big fan of music, and so I always try to find ways into the music scene, go and listen to music, talk to people about music, and it gives me a new view on what different parts of that society is thinking about. Music in some ways is the most powerful translator without understanding languages and meanings of the whole world. So eclecticism isn't just a way of enriching your own professional experience. It's also a way about becoming a better development economist. It's a way of taking development economics and applying it in a range of settings. And I don't want to undermine this. It also makes you a more interesting person for everyone to engage with, including individuals in the place that you're trying to support. That eclecticism is sometimes not really prioritized or valued in a lot of economic settings. But I would argue that in the setting of international development and development economics more generally, try to add it to your toolkit. Go and listen to some good music, and you'll see how much more of a development economist you could